Hello and welcome to the DSR Daily. I'm David Rothkopf, and I'm joined, as I always am, by Riley Fessler and Minestein. How are you guys doing?
Eh,
Yeah,
been better.
Okay.
been better. Yeah, well, it's a rough moment for the country, but on the other hand, it's been a rough moment for the country for the past, 10 years. So perhaps we will somehow get used to it, learn from it. Who knows? Let's see how we're doing today. Riley, why don't you kick us off here?
Conservative activist Charlie Kirk was fatally shot by a sniper while speaking at a Utah university, an act Governor Spencer Cox called a political assassination. Kirk, a key ally of President Trump and co founder of Turning Point USA, died after being shot in the neck during the campus event. The killing, captured on video, has been widely condemned by political figures from both parties, and police continue a manhunt for the lone suspect. The incident comes amid a period of increased political violence in the U.S., with over 300 politically motivated violent acts documented since January 2021.
Yeah, it's a very rough moment in the country, and obviously, murder is never justified. This was a repugnant act. I think we all can acknowledge that without then making the mistakes that seem to be being made by others, or worse than mistakes, seizing upon this act in a way that only makes matters worse. The President of the United States led that effort by calling Charlie Kirk a martyr and then essentially saying, that he would use this occasion to go after all those who support the left. And this was a kind of view echoed across the right wing Fox News commentators, other right wing commentators, calling for this to be a source of further conflict, further violence. Meanwhile, some on the left were responding by, you know, whitewashing who Kirk was or denying who Kirk was. There's a New York Times op-ed by Ezra Klein saying he practiced politics the way it should be practiced. I think we all are grown up enough to be able to say he should not have been gunned down. His family is suffering a horrible tragedy. But the culture of violence that led to that is something he contributed to, and that he was not practicing politics the right way. He called for, a patriot to bail out the guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband with a hammer. He attacked different groups within our society. He said the Second Amendment was okay if even if that meant a few innocent people had to die every year. He condemned the whole idea of empathy as being woke. This is not the way politics should be practiced. It's the way it is practiced that leads to precisely this kind of thing. And we don't know who did it. Trump immediately assumed it was somebody on the left. We don't know who did it. They found a rifle, bolt action rifle in the woods where they think this person ran away. They've said they think it's a college age suspect. Beyond that, we just don't know. But I think if we want to begin to heal as a country, then we need to be honest and condemn everybody who contributes to the culture of violence in this country and all actions that contribute to it, including our wholesale descent into, gun culture hell, where there are 400 million guns in a country with 300 and odd million people. There are more guns than people here. Let's be honest. If we want to fix this, sadly, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think there will be more division, more violence, more use of this as a justification of violence. And we could very well be in for the kind of period of political violence that we saw, in the late 1960s or worse.
The Trump administration has expanded the use of a federal system called SAVE to allow states to verify voter citizenship status using limited personal information, resulting in over 33 million voter checks, despite concerns about data accuracy, privacy, and lack of transparency. While some Republican led states have embraced the tool and reported findings of a small number of suspected non citizen voters, many states from both parties remain hesitant due to unanswered questions about data handling and the system's potential misuse. Critics, including election officials and lawmakers, warn that reliance on incomplete or flawed data could lead to eligible voters being wrongly purged, as has happened in past cases.
Yeah, there isn't a lot of evidence that non-citizens vote in the United States because there are a number of steps that are taken to keep that from happening. I worry that this is not about voter fraud, but rather a way to target uh, 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 non-citizens for other kinds of actions, and at the same time to suppress voter turnout. That seems to be the Republican objective here, and it's should be worrisome on both of those counts.
Inflation rose in August, with consumer prices increasing by 2.9% annually, driven by higher costs for gas, groceries, and travel. Despite the Federal Reserve's inflation target of 2%, hiring has slowed and unemployment has ticked up, creating a complex economic picture. This puts the Fed in a difficult position as it typically cuts rates when unemployment rises, but holds them steady in the face of inflation. Although Fed Chair Jerome Powell signaled a rate cut is likely, the persistently high inflation could slow the pace of future cuts.
Yeah, and what is the source of the inflation, kids? Well, of course, a lot of it comes from the fact that we're imposing a new tax on Americans that gets translated into prices. The tax is called tariffs. Those tariffs are illegal. Maybe the Supreme Court will say they're illegal, but they have also said they're not going to make a decision on that for a long time. So this is going to be with us for a while. And high inflation plus declining employment as a result of this produces stagflation, which is bad news because it's very hard for policymakers to deal with it. Do I expect interest rates will go down a little bit? Yeah, because there's been so much political pressure on that front. Will it go down a lot? Will it have a major effect on things that you do, like purchase a home or, on credit cards? No, it won't. We're about to head into a period that's economically very rough, and it's going to continue through next year and have a big effect on the elections. And so I suspect this is one more factor that is going to weigh heavily on the Democrats to the Democrats' benefit, but will also lead Republicans to try to take steps to offset it, including steps that may not be legal or fair.
The House passed its $892.6 billion defense policy bill largely along party lines, after Republicans blocked Democratic amendments aimed at limiting the Trump administration's domestic use of the military. While the bill includes bipartisan measures like Pentagon acquisition reform, military pay raises, and aid for Ukraine, it also contains controversial provisions such as banning TRICARE coverage for gender transition care that alienated many Democrats. The Senate must now pass its version before both chambers reconcile differences in a final vote expected later in the fall.
Yeah, I mean, we have a Republican majority. This is where you get. But I think we should be honest. When you have a Democrat majority, you end up with almost the same total numbers. Defense budgets always go up because nobody wants to look to be weak on defense. And the result is we vastly overspend multiples of our potential enemies. And we have for decades and decades. And that money could go to other things. We could be investing in new technologies. We could be investing in schools. We could be investing in healthcare. It is a perversion of our system that costs us all every day in all of our lives. But who will say this publicly? Nobody. Nobody on the right, nobody on the left, because it is a political loser, tragically.
Peter Mendelsohn was dismissed from his role as Britain's ambassador to the United States due to
Let's
mounting
go
pressure.
back. Let's go back and call him Mandelson.
Sorry, Mendelsohn. Peter Mandelson was dismissed from his role as Britain's ambassador to the United States due to mounting pressure over his close ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The scandal intensified with the public release of a handwritten note from 2003 in which Mandelson called Epstein his best pal, as well as emails showing his continued support after Epstein's 2008 conviction. The UK Foreign Office stated that the full extent of the relationship was unknown at the time of his appointment, and his suggestion that Epstein's conviction was wrongful led to his immediate removal. Mandelson's resignation adds to Prime Minister Keir Starmer's political difficulties, as it is the second high-profile departure from his government in a week.
Well, I suppose there's a little good news in this, right? People who hung out with Epstein, people who supported Epstein, people who defended Epstein, people who may have been involved in whatever Epstein did, they deserve to be ostracized, penalized, and held accountable. And it's good to see at least one government doing that. Was Mandelson's affiliation with Epstein not known? I find that a little bit suspect. I think people probably did know about it and just thought they could look the other way. Is Keir Starmer running a shit show of a government right now? Yes, a shit show of a government. Everybody was hoping that the British government would get its act together with a new prime minister, have been sorely disappointed, and there are no signs of anything good anytime soon. And in fact, with the rise of the far right in the UK, there are worrisome signs that as bad as things are now, they could get worse. Well, that's not the uplifting ender that we thought we would have here today, but look, we'll keep trying. And later today, you'll get a Deep State Radio episode, or you can listen to it now on the Middle East. I would encourage you to listen to that one because it's a goodie. Later today, we'll be doing the Words Matter, and we're going to take a look at some major developments in our healthcare system, where they are likely to go, and a bunch of other political insights. We have both Norm Ornstein and our friend Laurie Garrett, science and healthcare journalist. And we've got everything else we usually have up for you, including 2 episodes of Still Consciousness, one this week and one next week, where we will allow you to get a glimpse of a vitally important discussion on where the power demands associated with AI are going to take us and what the consequences are going to be for everybody. As I was talking to somebody the other day, the punchline was what eggs were in the 2024 election. The price of electricity is going to be in the 2026 election. And that is intimately tied into AI policies. So well worth your time. That's what we do here. We try to provide expert perspectives on subjects, even complicated subjects. And if you like that and you want to support it, please go right now to the DSRnetwork.com, click on membership, and help support what we're doing. I know you haven't done it. Otherwise, you'd be a member by now. It's worth it. We've got to have independent voices out there every day. I despair a little more about the alternatives from mainstream media, but that only motivates us to do what we're doing each and every day. And for those of you who are members, thank you. We really, really appreciate it. It helps us. And we hope you think it helps you as well. Until tomorrow, thank you, Riley. Thank you, Minna. Bye-bye.